Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the show. Now, today we're talking about freedom of expression, which is once again under the spotlight in Nigeria. Now, this particular one began with a tweet by activist and publisher Omoyele Sowore, who in August referred to President Bola Tinubu as a criminal. Now, the DSS quickly petitioned him, demanding a retraction and apology, describing his post as false, malicious, and capable of inciting public disturbance. But Sowore rejected the petition outright, calling it fundamentally defective, unlawful, and part of a long history of rights abuses by the agency. So this morning, we're asking, when does government cross the line on free expression? My name is Chioma Kalu, and joining me to dissect today's conversations are my ladies Oluchi Omenka, Goodness Idehen, and Triumph Akimboye. And together, we will pull down the layers of this particular topic. And of course, would like to hear your thoughts as well. But before we dive into it, I want to find out how my ladies enjoy their weekend. So good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Okay, I don't know what happened there, but okay, how are you guys doing?
Fine.
Oluchi, how are you?
I'm okay.
What happened? Talk to us. Talk to us. What happened? No. Pour your
If I
anger.
start to talk, I will cry.
Please.
I will cry.
We've
on
got
this table,
tissue.
and I do not want to cause a scene. So just take my okay like that and hold it with your left hand.
Okay, how did your weekend go?
Let's say 7/10. I have a lot of uncompleted tasks, and I don't like to start the Monday with complaint. That's why I'm just putting the I'm okay tag there, but I will be okay. I guess.
Will be.
Yeah.
Goodness, how did your weekend go?
Oh, my weekend went well. Thank God.
Please, details, girls. Please, somebody.
Let us know if we are going to go and beat somebody up.
Oh, okay. Maybe we need to do
Next
that.
time you try on details, I think she's the one that
Triumph.
So
Yes.
spill,
Give us
spill
details.
now,
For
Triumph.
starters, I like that you were very early today. You know, after
Considering where I
asking
was
that we
coming
pray for her, considering where you were coming
Prayer,
from.
I don't know who prayed, but I think Choma was the one that prayed.
It has to be
because
Choma.
I'm sure that these two did not pray for me.
But then we had a great weekend, yeah?
I had a very great weekend.
Well,
It was quick, but
it was quick.
yes. I mean, this is Monday again. I don't know.
How about you, Chema? How was your weekend?
Well, my weekend was good and shocking, you know. So I had a domestic accident, like I said. So I fell down the stairs.
Sorry.
I mean, it's okay.
Okay, my sympathy.
Yeah, but then again, I attended this hangout that was really nice. Oh my God. I was telling someone I haven't had this much fun in 2 years. Honestly,
long time.
yes, the adrenaline pump was a lot. I had a lot of fun.
I can see the glow. It's
Yeah.
actually still reflecting today.
Yeah, I actually did have a lot of fun. And then on Sunday, during service, my phone crashed.
Hey.
It was just a lot, but I'm here now and I'm okay. So, all right, that's it. We're going to come back after the short break, you know, to get on to know the stories that made headlines on today's newspapers. Don't go away. Welcome back. Remember, this conversation is not just about those on the table. We would also love to hear your thoughts. And so our phone lines are now open. You can, hit us up at 0702-500-7749 or 0701424 2420. And if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do that at Official Upgrade TV. Click the subscribe button now, like, share, and tune in to channel 145 on your GoTV. And really, don't miss this conversation. Before we go on, it's now time for us to scan the headlines shaping conversations here in Nigeria. And we'll be looking at The Punch, The Guardian, and the Nigerian Tribune. And we'll be starting with The Punch, and Oluchi will guide us through it.
The Punch papers has exciting details, follow up on some things we've discussed the past few weeks. The major headline says emergency rule. IBAS defends 6-month tenure as opposition demands probe. There are more details there. It says PDP LP, Mossop and others call for accountability as Fubara returns September the 18th. Wike, Fubara, shun transition and Thanksgiving service. Above that, we see INEC Catholic bishops clash over 2023 poll credibility and Kano 6 transfer from DSS to National Hospital. Crude earnings fall by 3.18 trillion naira amid output surge. Dangote deploys 1,000 truck. Ipman rallies marketers. Below that, more stories. States pledge quality education as schools resume today. Lagos stops 6-story building construction after Punch report. And last story is Ogun urges residents to relocate over flood threat. This reminds me of when island people were also urged to relocate. But I think we have a way of getting over all of this because I didn't hear of anyone who relocated at any point. Maybe they did. You can let us know. And then, of course, Ogun, they're also facing this crisis. And the rain this past few days has been overwhelming. Today, in fact, even showered a bit. We don't know what to expect. I think the weather forecast, I saw it this morning, I think we're still going to have rain. But beyond that, schools are resuming. That's so exciting.
Is it?
It is, but not to parents that are paying, not to parents that are paying huge amount of school fees. Trump just asked me a few minutes ago if I went to a private primary school. I remember when schools was about to resume, the excitement was for the children because we wanted to showcase our nice school bags, our lunch packages and everything. But our parents are not excited because it means a lot of bills for them. So I think this is my heartfelt, how would I call it now, to every parent out there preparing for the resumption. I trust God to help you people to, cater for your loved ones and your words. But going back to a more serious issue, not like that isn't serious. This emergency rule stuff. IBAS defends 6-month tenure as opposition demands probe. Everybody knows what happened or knew what happened, this past 6 months when the state of emergency in Rivers was called and we had someone step in, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete IBAS, who stepped in during the period where the president called for the state of emergency. So there's been a lot of discussion around this particular conversation that this was constitutionally not needed, right? And I'm wondering if that's a conversation you should have now. I mean, you survived it in the sense that it has happened, it has ended. The person who was put there, that's Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Iba, said that he did his job and whatever the president asked him to do was what he did for the 6 months that he was there. And, there's been a lot of conversation back and forth, of course, from opposition parties and people who want to find a reason to criticize. I really wasn't so interested, pardon me, with the whole story. But again, for 18th of September this year, we're expecting Governor Fubara to be back on seat. And I'm sure that this time around, we should expect a better administration. We should expect smoother process to, administration in the state, and it should be better. And this even makes me think about a number of things that really happen, with state governments across Nigeria. It's a very funny one when we think that they shouldn't have some sort of control. Do you get it? We feel state governments should just be left on their own to handle things on their own. If you check Rivers State is really at the helm of affairs in the sense that they're the ones producing oil.
Oil-rich
they really help us become rich in our country, right? So if we do not pay attention to what happens there, it's not going to be of benefit to us. So eventually, everything that happened has come to an end. The 6-month suspension has come to an end. So let us expect better administration moving forward in Rivers.
All right. I particularly am interested in what happens come September 18th.
That's on Thursday.
I am very interested to see
Maybe a Thanksgiving
what's going to be.
service.
I think I have seen a story. I saw one
A Thanksgiving
correspondent.
service.
Yeah, that said there was going to be that. I'm like,
For what?
Okay.
Is it
That
a
was my
retirement
reaction.
ceremony?
I'm like, okay. What are we doing? That's another way to waste money, but
No, we must always
okay.
find a way to celebrate.
But that's fine. Also, speaking to the school resumption, one of the days I took the liberty of going to do a vox pop with one of the resumption periods, September like this, and I asked parents, "Oh, are you ready for the new school session?" One man almost beat me up. He said, "Madam, I beg, come on, this thing for my face. Did they ever ready for that kind of thing?" And I could feel his frustration because he said, "I've got 4 kids, and I don't even have. They're owing me salary at work. Who do I tell to stay at home, and who do I tell to go to school?" And now the schools are not making it easy because most schools now have increased the cost of fees, right? And you have to do it. And now these fees don't come at once. Some have uniforms, you have books, you have, there are lots of things. And that's why you see some committees, some states are calling for that textbook, always change the textbook just to eradicate it. But, well, I do hope that God guides them. But try to take us through the Guardian,
I think
please.
it's better if we start to go on with the Guardian, because what I actually want to talk about is to actually go deep into this school resumption thing. But let us first look at the stories that are making headlines on the front page of the Guardian News. The screaming headline here says, "Back to school. Parents struggle with steep tuition hike as schools wrestle rising operations."
I mean, we just said that.
Yeah. You'll find the story in page 6 of the Guardian News. And another one says, Akpabio urges Nigerians to tarry, says Tinubu's reform will bear fruit. Nigerians should calm down. I mean, there's a whole lot of tension. By the time we're even talking about Sowore's case this morning, everything is... There's so much tension here and there. So Akpabio is telling Nigerians to actually calm down, because our president's reform will actually still bear fruit. I mean, it has been bearing fruits, but we'll see more fruits. So a story you would find in page 5 of the Guardian News. DAP man warns against divisive narratives in downstream sector. INEC others tasked on credible polls to avert protest. This is a story in page 5 of the Guardian News. Another related story: punish politicians in early election campaigns. Serap tells INEC. I mean, if we are going to, if INEC is actually going to follow what Serap is talking about, I think all politicians are going to be guilty on this table, because whether they are ready to admit it or not, they already started their campaigning. They might not come out to say that, oh, we are campaigning, but things are already going on.
Some already came out.
Why some already came out? But I don't really know. So if they're saying we should punish them, I think we should punish
every one of them.
Every one of them. All right. So let me just, and there are some other stories, making headline. But let me quickly talk about parents' struggle with steep tuition hike as schools wrestle against rising operation. Now, the part that I want to look at, rising operation. Now, the part that I want to look at, there is like 200% spike in 5 years, as regards the tuition fee. But the part that I really want to talk about is the fact that, according to survey, 35% of parents move private to public switch over cost. And the government is beginning to consider special palliatives for education. So my point is that people are moving their children. That was why I was, trying to ask Oluchi, because I remember that she attended a private school. That's a primary school. I also attended private school. But when I got to secondary school, I attended a federal school, right? And them moving from, one school to the other, from private to public, actually, when I was growing up, before I really knew so much about anything, sometimes I used to wonder that why is it that when you go to public schools, it feels like, the people that, they are not able to afford so much. Some people are not even very smart for that particular public school, it feels like there's a serious difference. So I'm really like, should it be that, it's because of funds that, pushes parents, taking their kids from private school to public school? But I also understand the standard of education in Nigeria as regards to the fact that sometimes these public-owned schools are not being provided with the right things by the government. But I really think that taking your kids from private to public should not just be about funds. But unfortunately, when you attend private school, there's so much money they are collecting. They will collect money for books. They will collect money for this. They will collect money for end of the year practice. There's just so many things.
Just to wrap this up, before you have a baby, count the cost. Let's hear the Nigerian Tribune.
All right.
Goodness.
Nigerian Tribune also leads with the same story that we've been talking on concerning parent school resumption. But above the masthead, we have Governor Adeleke has surpassed APC's 12-year record under 3 years. This was said by the Osun student leaders, which the writer says failed opposition's aspirants should see what even the blind are seeing. So that statement is wonderful.
Very ironical, yeah.
So I don't want to go so deep there. So below the masthead, we have a Dangote refinery accuses DAPman of misleading Nigerians, and it says that it offers cheaper fuel despite importing 60% of crude. I think I saw that news that was sometime a few days ago where it was stated that probably Dangote sells at 60 naira fuel at other countries, whereas in Nigeria it's not even up to, it's more than that amount. And we have another news that says that travelers at risk as scams, extortion rampant at Lagos airport. Then lastly, that will be taken regarding the health, we have drinking too little water predisposes to stress. I'm going to be taking that story with another, and I actually think that's really is even directing to me because
you don't drink water.
Me and water, I don't know if you are any measure, but scientists have actually said that drinking too little water makes us more vulnerable to stress through dehydration, and they've said that this could lead to heart disease, diabetes, depression. You can have low blood pressure, heart attack, heart palpitations, and also even inadequate of fluid intake can lead to heat cramps, heat exhaustion, or even heat stroke, particularly during periods of high activity and sweating. So there's this a normal way of, if we are in the hot season, hot weather, right? We sweat a lot, so it's expected that you take a lot of water. You get to also get to make your everything balance in within you. So I don't want to talk much on it, but that was just a little update concerning the health region. And then if you look at the story of this airport's corruption, I want to take this because we're already in the embassy season. Everybody wants to travel, go out. So in Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, it has been noted that we have some scams that have taken that axis as their hotbed. And we have extortion targeting unsuspecting travelers. And even those ticket sellers, they seem to even collaborate with them where they have to, hike prices for them. Those that probably don't really know the actual price. Imagine getting a one-way ticket for 250,000 naira. And some of them even had to have special POS, separate from the government ones where you have to pay through just because of this, inimical activity that has been carried on. So I just want to, more like an advice, right? So if you are going out, environment is a season of enjoyment and everything, just be careful. Well, but if you have more money to spend, you don't need to bother.
So I feel like anybody that chooses to pay to an individual and not designated agencies for your flight, be ready to deal with whatever repercussions you see. Do you understand? Because, first of all, how can you trust? I don't know if it's making sense. If you're traveling with Airpeace, pay to Airpeace.
Yeah, the story says that some airline staff are working hand in hand with the tout.
Well, I don't blame them, right? I've been to the airport. In fact, I think I think coming back on my last trip, this man, after I passed immigration, told me, oh, madam, you have to pay to have access to your luggage. Yes, they did that. I'm like, wait, I will pay to carry my bag. He said, oh, that is the new policy. I mean, he said he was even going to help me locate my luggage faster. I was really exhausted. I paid this guy. But long story short, now me still go find my luggage. I still carried my luggage myself. So it goes to show the level of nonchalance in the aviation sector. Now, the aviation minister, Fetus Keyamo, is a very great guy. He's doing so much. He's doing great job in that sector. But I think down the ladder, people there are the ones messing the whole thing up because there is corruption in every single, right from the gates of the airports. There is corruption in every single table, at every single table you get to. Even it's until you enter the aircraft. If they could hawk gala there for you, they would do it, right? So I think he needs to really look down, put in unsuspecting spies to pick these people out. But anyway, that's what we can take on the news making headlines in today's newspapers. We're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll dive into our hot topic for the day. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, and thanks for still being here with us. We are talking about freedom of expression, and we're asking, when does the government cross the line on freedom of expression? And we're using Sowore and the DSS, as our case study. Now, as we earlier stated, right, a new storm is brewing over freedom of expression in Nigeria. It began last month in August with a tweet from Sowore, who called President Tinubu a criminal after he declared in Brazil that there was no longer corruption in the country. Now, the DSS in turn petitioned him demanding a retraction and apology, describing his post as false, malicious, and capable of inciting public disturbance. Now, Sowore rejected the petition outrightly, insisting it is fundamentally defective and unlawful. Now, if you see the pictures playing on the screen, you see Sowore actually replied the tweet and said, even if you give me from now till Tinubu's end of tenure in 2027, I will still not retract that statement. Because I'm sorry, Sowore can be, termed as controversial sometimes. But in this particular case, I feel like there should be freedom of speech. And like I said earlier before we started this show, right, if we all go by this action, if we start acting this way, they should arrest like half of Americans because the way they shade Trump, do you understand? So freedom of speech is part of your right as a citizen of the country, except it's just for the books. And I like the way Oluchi has been smiling. Oluchi, do you think Sowore crossed the line?
Because I remember the statement. I'm trying to really phrase it properly. It says, where your right stops, we have the bullet.
I think
when your right stops, that's where it starts for someone else. I've forgotten how it's put, but what you call I'm entitled to is my right, and I can do it, could actually be a form of, there's this legal term they use, you are against someone else's rights. Do you understand? To you,
infringement.
You are infringing on someone else's right. I don't know why the English all escaped, because I'm going through a lot. We're going back to what I said. So yes, there's the whole, he's courageous and everything. And I just even had to check, what does it mean for you to actually term someone as courageous? You would term someone as courageous if the situation we're in already intimidates people who speak out loud. I think in Nigeria, that's what happens. You gave an instance of America. You cannot compare them with us.
I mean,
a lot of free things happen there. I mean, these are people that understand their rights. Do you understand? They can bypass many processes. In fact, sometimes when they take certain politicians to the court of law, you even find some of them winning against these people because they understand their rights. There's this so much emphasis on freedom and everything, but that's not what plays in Nigeria. Because even our legal framework has a lot of cultural biases with it. And there's a lot of our tradition embedded in it. Because let's even look at the policymakers. Who are the people that make these laws? They have, let me not even go so detailed into it. So yes, the idea of Sowore being a courageous person, whether he overstepped, I think maybe Nigeria just somehow indulges him.
Sure.
Yeah, Nigeria indulges him.
But do you think he was
the citizens or people who are on his side indulges him to do and even go beyond? Do you understand? So you might term it as courageous, but we're even in a situation where we don't have as many people that can do what he's doing. So this exactly that. So I can't do what you're doing. I don't have the liver to say it as you are saying. So I am going to indulge you to your doom. And pardon me to use that word, because at the end of the day, when it really comes to really dire situation, nobody's going to come through for him. I can actually bet on that. When it comes to when you face some really tough stuff, maybe nobody is really going to come through you. So courage is seen in this sense because we see a lot of intimidated Nigerians as well who cannot come up, to speak against things that are not working well in the country.
Let's hear what Goodness has to say.
I don't know why is this continent of laughter. Are we trying to be careful? Maybe we self are trying to be careful. So that DSS
will not find you.
For breakfast girls.
I'm not scared of anyone because, right, I've not crossed the line, so you get. So concerning the aspect of this whole issue, first, I want to even reread this tweet. It says, the criminal at official bat.
This criminal.
Okay, sorry, this criminal at official bat.
I know, that's why I emphasize on this.
To state that there is no more corruption. So if you are looking at it in the linguistic way, this criminal, it's a definite statement, right? Saying that he is a criminal, right? I'm not totally going against what he said about Tinubu concerning the whole corruption thing, right? Because we all know that corruption still exists in the country.
That's right.
But the fact that he affirmed by using that word, first of all, imagine, this is a president of a country, right? I know the fact that in other countries, you have the liberty to say whatever you want to say concerning the president and everything. But at the same time, there's always a saying that it depends on how you yourself, you are the people, like the owner. It depends on how you present your leader. That's how everyone perceives your leader.
Yes.
So if you are putting it out in the world that this your leader is a criminal, meaning you are saying, you are tagging that every Nigerians are criminals. Do you get that? No, that's what I'm saying. Fine, corruption is in Nigeria, but I feel that there could have been more appropriate words, right, to use to term. Because if you are saying our president is a criminal, that means every other thing he's doing, even the negotiations he had gone to do, the bilateral trade,
I'm sorry, the way Triumph is still tweaking her eye. I'm very curious, but go ahead, finish your thoughts.
So it means that everything is involving, is ingenuine. So meaning, actually, if probably a country wants to accept to negotiate with the president, making bilateral agreements, they'll have to think twice. Because seeing that post be like, this criminal, meaning it is a criminal that is a president. And yeah, we are lamenting that we need help in the country.
It's criminals that voted a criminal.
That's just the way, that's just, it's looking, so it's been pointed. So I'm not saying him challenging the president is wrong, of course. That's why it is a government, it is democracy. Right? So everybody have the opportunity to say whatever they want to say, but say it in a more appropriate way, because you can't bite more than what you can chew. I'll just leave it at that.
Let's hear triumph.
Okay, so at the end of the day, our president is our president, right? And sometimes I like to bring some things home. Regardless of however your parent is or whatever, there are some things that you don't see, even when you see certain things. I mean, in a situation where, I mean, freedom of expression is great. I have two sides to this story.
I'm very curious.
I have different sides to this story. So, but when we think about it as regards, you know, calling out our president as a criminal, that's too much, if you would ask me. Now, the other side of the story is that we are in a Nigeria that freedom of speech is
not free.
It's not free. You hear people say something like freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is great, but freedom after speech is not guaranteed.
That's where we have a problem.
And I'm going to bring it home very well. You know, even in this our table, you know, in media space. I mean, I've been on radio and all of that. There are times where there are certain things that you can't say.
Yeah, right.
There are certain truths that you can't utter because you are representing your state as a broadcast, as whatever it is that you say you are. So this is the other side of the story, that I can't also blame him, because even sometimes the people that are supposed to utter the truth are not even saying the truth. But when we look at the context of what is going on, that's another side I'm going to. As regards President Bola Ahmed Tinubu saying that there is no corruption in Nigeria, what's the definition of audacity in the first place? What's audacity in the first place? If we all know that there are corruptions in Nigeria, but for him to come out to say that there is no corruption in Nigeria,
that's very delusional.
Audacity. It's not, I mean, what I see audacity as is not delusion. Whatever is making him say that there is no corruption, we know that there is corruption in Nigeria, but whatever is making him say that, oh, there is no corruption in Nigeria, but we know that there is no corruption in Nigeria, I think we should actually take a look at the president differently.
Okay. So, for me, I think I share a different sentiment. I don't know, you people are very nice people on this table, right? Like I said, Sowore might be a lot in the Nigerian space. We know him as a lot. But I feel like one of the things that is killing us as a country is the issue of who will build a cat. Do you understand? Who will speak out? Who will call these people out for their nonsense that they're doing? And Sowore, I'm not a big fan of his, but he has taken it upon himself to be that person. I mean, this guy is now comfortable with court cases and detention. I saw one court case. He was supposed to appear in court. This man came with a luggage just in case they are sending him to detention. He was ready. Sometimes I'm thinking, how does his wife cope?
That's like a second apartment.
You know, but then again, he has made it a lifelong commitment to call these people out on whatever it is they're doing. Because first, to think about it, like you said, you can't go on global stage and tell the global audience that there's no corruption in Nigeria. That's a slap on Nigerians who are suffering the backlash of the effect of the corruption.
Are we fools?
Are we fools? What do you take us for? That's my anger, right?
They also know.
So maybe I wouldn't say you criminal, like Sowore said. I would have said, what's wrong with you? Why do you say that?
Enter trouble.
That's the problem.
I do not understand this statement.
Now you're being very diplomatic about it.
Because I think that's the stance I like to take.
Like
for how long?
I'm saying I do not understand this statement. Okay, we are not criminal, or we don't have corruption here, but how about this and this and this and that?
I mean,
point out this obvious facts.
We just talked about the aviation sector. Okay, just last week, on my show last week, a journalist made a video in a hospital in Kebbi State showing the dilapidated state of it. This journalist was jailed by the government. They threw him into detention. What was his crime?
We've always had our rights being infringed.
That's my
in the
point.
country,
So the more reason, I don't know, but I personally believe that just shying away, I better go, I don't want wahala, it's not going to get us anywhere.
Yeah.
Provided you're not, adding your own.
So, Shahid, are you saying that we should now rather support someone who has taken it upon himself to champion it with
Like
much
I
boldness?
said,
because
dude,
all of us are shying away from it. We're all being diplomatic. We're
so
all
when
trying
you
to
see
use
somebody
English.
speaking up, please, by all means, don't criticize him. That's what I think. Because now, okay, let me ask you, do you think that this particular case, because, okay, another angle I want to take is, why is it not Tinubu that is petitioning? Why is it DSS? She is the person they offend that will sue. Why is it DSS that is suing on behalf of the president?
Because they are committed to the president. Who are they going to serve?
It's committed to Nigeria. They are committed to Nigeria.
But I just feel that
Nigeria.
It's not Nigeria.
I feel that for every country, for every government, right? What makes a government even sweet is the aspect of criticizing that particular government. So if a government cannot really chest out or chest in whatever statement has been said by the citizens or the people who he is ruling with, right? There will be an issue, because that is also a means of you finding out the loopholes of what you need to correct in the society.
Yes.
The president cannot know everything that is certainly happening. So from the critique that people are putting out there, that's how you get what you think you should do better. I think there are particular countries where they actually embrace public opinion a lot, where probably there will be like a pool where you give out, you say whatever you want to say concerning a particular government that is wrong, and
town hall meeting.
From there, the president or the leader takes into correction of what he needs to do.
Please, let's hold that thought. So we're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll pick this up from this town hall meeting. Don't go anywhere. All right. I'm so sorry, this conversation cracks me up. Anyway, we have a comment on YouTube from Kurt Samuels. He said, at the same time, freedom of speech isn't freedom to defame someone. I think this person shares Oluchi's sentiment.
Really, we're really on the same table.
Well,
because
I agree. I mean, you just pointed out something while we were on break. Calling him this criminal is defamation on his person. Okay, if we look at it that way, if we look at it that way, yeah,
so
it will work.
The funny thing about this is that sometimes the reason why I don't like to take the sides of some Nigerians, I mean, the whole politics and all of that, because sometimes at the end of the day, by the time we look deep down, not even deep down, or what is about to happen in the future, and then we realize that at the end of the day, the reason why you've been doing all this is because of whatever it is that you wanted to achieve. Personally, not like the interest of Nigerians is actually, what if, whoever it is that Sowore wanted to be president, was the president.
Or maybe himself.
Would he come out? Or
So
maybe
what is
himself,
the
would he come
whoever?
out to call
Why are you
himself
going
a
through the
criminal?
corners?
Exactly, let's not cut corners.
What is the
What
whoever?
is
He's the
himself now?
person.
He ran in 2023.
What's going on? Now you're not coming out. You ran in 2023, you did not enter. Now you feel like you can call somebody in the position. Meanwhile, sometimes here, as Nigerians, whether we agree or whether we don't agree, it is easy for us to, say that the president is not doing well, the president is not doing well, the governor is not doing well. But sometimes, when you are in that position, the same Nigerians will still come out to question that what you are doing, you are not doing well. So I feel like Sowore's statements or Sowore's actions, you mentioned something like, Nigerians are sponsoring, Nigerians are not beginning to sponsor Sowore too much. Backing him up. Because by the time you look at it, at the end of the day, it is not yourself you're doing it for. Are you not getting the whole publicity for it? So
For
I
the
just
next
feel
election,
like
2027.
Well,
I mean, okay, go ahead.
okay, so I wanted to even say a statement concerning when we made mention of his use of words, right? So that has already been established. But I wanted to make a statement that Albert Van Dyson needs to redefine what he actually termed as rule of law, right? Because that does not even really take effect in Nigeria. We all know that whenever you're in a power or in a position, you are above the law. Take it or leave it. Even though it's like a system of government that we all say, we only say
So it's
it,
like
we
an
don't act it.
unwritten rule.
Yes, so you get that. Because I've been wondering that why is it that probably you're a governor, you're a president, you're a senator, you don't subscribe to the country's prescribed rules. There are things, there are laws, there are human rights. Even the United Nations, that's the UDHR, had already declared everybody had human rights. You have human rights for freedom of expression, but at the same time, even the president will also have freedom of expression to express himself. And
he has
told
expressed
you this.
that we are not corrupt.
And he has expressed that we are not corrupt. So leave him to his words. We all know. Even those people that he's talking to globally, they know Nigerians. They know what is currently happening in Nigeria. They are not fools. So the fact that he made that statement, there's also something underneath it, because you can't. It's just like claiming that his name Gongon is corruption.
But then again, excuse me, I will still take us back to June 12th too. When Tinubu said, call me names, call me whatever, but I will still call upon democracy to defend you. Was that just mere word? Right? Was it just a comment to make us feel like, okay, well, I be democratic? Because me, that comment, I screenshot it and I placed it on my chest.
But maybe we should send it to Sowore at this point.
But wait, do you know
No, we need to send it to DSS, because this president that you're calling a criminal, that you're trying to defend, is saying, call me names or
gave us heads
anything.
up.
He already gave us heads up that I don't have a problem with him calling me names. So it shouldn't be a problem.
But it might not even be the president
That's
that
what
is
I was about to
acting
say,
on
that
this.
the
It can even
DSS
be that the DSS, they just took it
So
upon themselves.
it's not just
to carry out
DSS. The
that.
special advisor to the president on media and communication, Bayo Nonuga, also reached out to Sowore, asking him to take it down. So does it mean that, okay, that's the president that said, tell this boy to take it down? Because, I mean, they work for the president.
But you know that, let's be very sincere. When the president said, call me names, do you think he actually meant call me names? It couldn't have been.
I'm taking your word for it.
No, we're taking that word too literally. I think it just means I would be responsible for certain things, and of course, you can speak up. What? Taking it literally to now start calling him names, derogatory names, is you not being very wise as a
And knowing
person.
fully well that this is not the first time we are having Sowore coming out to do all the things that he's doing. Because sometimes, I'm just saying that, as...
I think she has some Sowore party.
Because seriously, we know that Sowore, there is so much Sowore.
Yeah.
And then we are coming out to say, okay, if he's calling the president a criminal, this person that called the president a criminal, we still call another person another thing tomorrow. The moment is not going in the way he wants it to go. And it feels like it's now the voice of the youth.
Yeah, I'm just saying, let's know what we take very personally. The president has said, call me names. I don't think it actually meant, because, there's this thing that happens with public speeches. Have you realized? Many times they write the speeches for them, but when they come out, there's an emotional thing that happens that makes people say what they really do not mean. Maybe that's what's even happened for him to have said that there's no corruption in Nigeria. Maybe in a bit of saying that our country is growing, we're moving forward, there's no corruption.
I mean, I watched the video, and the way he said it, and then there was like, this, you know, when you talk and you drop the mic. That's
He
exactly what
actually
happened.
had that drop mic moment in all of his speeches, if you notice.
Oh my
Even before he
God.
got into power. One time I went back to watch them, they were so hilarious. I think he's that part of a
So
public
immediately
speaker.
he said it, and
So
I
it's
had that
everything-
drop the mic moment. I'm like, this guy is going to take a lot of self-control not to call you a criminal at this point. Because how do you just come out and say that? It's a slap on our faces now. Come on.
But what Oluchi said, that she stated concerning that he could have criticized the government
And
not him. Because
but then he should be held responsible for his actions.
But there's a difference there's a thin line rather between him being a leader, a president, and his personality. When I'm reading this comment again to get a whole lot of different dimensions to it, right? If I should read it in another way, you even be wondering. Imagine, let me read the statement. This criminal.
Exactly.
First of all, this meaning
How
no
dare you call him
name.
this?
You are the
degrading.
No, he tagged him. He tagged him
Wait,
after he called him.
well, before he tagged, there was already a two phrase before he tagged him, right? That tagging was to be specific that
who
this
the
is the
criminal
person he's talking
is.
I
about.
didn't put the picture there. In case
No,
you
that was the video.
Oh, the video.
Yeah, where he made
I think
the
we have
comment.
another comment from Okpeagbe.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
He says, I
Okay, go
feel
ahead.
it is not the right of the DSS to ask Sowore to take his post down. Sowore could have said the president lied than using the extreme words. I think this part supporting me of criminal, which is a bad image for a president. She said, sir, this is a lie. Things happening in our country do not approve of what you
your
have said.
statement.
Nobody would have held you.
That word actually carries a lot.
Okay, just moving forward now, do you think that the government agencies, this DSS, do you think they should be responding to tweets with petitions, or maybe just simply engage with, open communication?
First of all, I think they don't even need to be threatening people, because that's when I saw the statement that they're giving him 1 week. That's a threat, right? And you are infringing on the
Human
things he
rights.
was supposed to even benefit from. You're not supposed to tell him you're giving him 1 week. Okay,
An
if he doesn't abide to it, what will you do?
Oh, that's why you
will
told them,
arrest
do
him.
your worst, even if...
That's just because it is a threat, and we all know that we kick
I
against
want to
that.
know what he really swallows. His
The
audacity.
Biggest audacity vendor is very, very good.
But as regards this answer, ideally, according to democracy, like you've mentioned a lot of times on this table, some of the things that happen is just not how it ought to be. And I think before even blaming the president and all these people, I think we should even start looking at our lawmakers, people who set this law. Why are you not at the seat to ensure that whatever law we set is being followed? Rather, what we see happen in the Senate and with the people that are supposed to be policies reformers are the ones even causing a lot of chaos, but not even go there. So the DSS and these people that give out this petition, I think it's threatening and it's against human rights in that sense. I was thinking that the best he could have done is to counter what Sowore has said, right? That's even like being the bigger person. He called your president a criminal. You can come out with facts and data under his post and let him know that what you are saying...
Nigerians will immediately even see, rather than trying to take somebody to court that we don't even know what is happening unless you tell us that, okay, this was what happened.
So at this point, if you really are on the side of the president and on the country, put us in the right light against what he must have said. Do you understand? Then when it now goes a little beyond normal, then you can take necessary legal actions, not trying to intimidate in that sense.
And that's where even
That's what I
that form comes in, what we call checks and balances. Because when you're making mention of these people that are lawmakers, in Nigeria, basically, we always clamor that these divisions of government, right, that's the judiciary, the legislative, and the executive, that they need to work independently. But they're not working independently. And that's why we even have the checks and balances. Okay, if they're working independently, this other hand could also checkmate their actions. But it's not taken out like that. So if, like you said, he had made that post and they've countered, that's why I said the president should chest it in by also talking and also saying his own stance. Not the DSS threatening him. They can also make that post. And I'm even sure, even if they come out with their fact, Nigerians too will still come and bombard that post and bring that other thing. So, but as a president or the leader of a whole country, you can't run away or shy away from criticism. It is almost impossible for that, except even if you are doing well, there will still be something a particular person or a citizen under your government will still have to complain about.
All right, just before we go, right, to all of us now, so if you're to advise we Nigerians on responsible freedom of expression, what would it be for you? Because now, we need to know if it's about now shying away or really being responsible about it.
I mean, freedom of expression is very great. And let me say this, from our table as media personalities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Freedom of expression is very great, and we should not withdraw from the right things. And that's the same with Nigerians. However, there is always a way to place your words. There is a way to place your word. The same thing that you will say, that you will meet, grace. That's the same thing that you will say, that you are going to meet, rebuke. So there's always a way to place your words. And I think that is just, my advice to Nigerians. But don't withhold anything that you have to say.
All right. Before you share your own thoughts. Obayemi said on YouTube now, a columnist wrote on the fact that the petition by the DSS is embarrassing. If the post is taken down, it will set a bad precedent in critiquing the president. This doesn't mean Sowore is right. Well, I agree with you, right? But I also think the post should not be taken down. The post should not be taken down. Because once you take it down, you're telling people, okay, you can't speak freely anymore. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to quickly remind us that there was a time before, that was in 1948, right? When we had IBB in power. There was a time Nigeria was suspended in the UNO, where it violated human rights of the Ogoni people. Now, if this situation was to occur again, yes, because Nigeria now is not independent, so I'm sure even the outside world will not want to interfere. But this is a situation where you will see, for instance, Franklin Roosevelt was the one that propagated that, would have actually even come out to speak against this. Because you're even threatening someone, meaning you're even threatening his life. That's just the statement. So both of them are not, yes, they are wrong in their way. You coming out to threaten him is against it. And he also labeling him, tagging him with that name too. You could also, because now we're even in the more of how to use your language right? We have so many linguists that will come out and say different stands of that particular word. So that's just what I would just say about that.
You know what I'm going to say? We have said be careful, use your words right. But going back to what you said happened in Kebbi, I think even the most careful journalists, the most careful critics still face harassment. Yeah. It's a sad thing. So I think our rule of law and the rights of citizens need to really be protected. The people implementing and doing all these policy reforms really do your work. A lot of distractions and rubbish are really happening that are really taking away our attention from what should be upheld. So I think people should start doing their works. And again, going back to us who want to still speak, let's remember that we can attack the issue and not the persons themselves. I think that's how to really deal with matters generally.
Such a beautiful conversation. Thank you, my ladies. People are really Nigerians. Anyway, freedom of expression, you guys, is not a privilege granted by those in power. It is a right guaranteed to every Nigerian. Now, when criticism is silenced, democracy weakens. And also, when agencies act as censors instead of protectors, trust is lost. Sowore's defiance may be controversial, of course, like we've said on this table, but it shines a light on a brighter truth, on a bigger truth, that the health of democracy is measured not by how he treats his admirers, but by how he handles critics. And as we close today, let's remember speaking the truth should never be a crime, and silence should never be the prize of survival. Do have a wonderful day ahead of you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.